Hello everyone, my name is Miranda and welcome back to Miranda Reads the International Book-a-Long List. I didn't have a tune that I was singing before I went for that, but that's okay. Hello, I hope you're well. I am today going to be reviewing the second book that I've read off the International Book-a-Long List 2023, which was, drumroll, The Gospel According to the New World by Maryse Condé, translated by Richard Philcox, who was apparently Maryse Condé's husband. So I've wanted to read something by Maryse Condé for a while. I was especially interested in her book, I Tituba, Black Witch of Salem. Yeah, she's a kind of like a legendary Caribbean author, and I was really excited to read a book by her. However, I did not like this, and we're gonna get into why. So this book is about a man called Pascal. It follows him from his birth to his death, and he is supposedly, well, it's kind of unclear where this comes from. I can't exactly remember, but basically some people think that he is the son of God, and he is a kind of new Messiah, and his life is spent kind of searching for meaning. He spends a long time looking for his father, and who he hopes will, his biological father, because he was raised by parents after kind of being abandoned in a barn. And yeah, so he spends a long time looking for his biological father, who he hopes will be able to give him a kind of like clue about his destiny and what he's meant to do with his life, because everyone, or lots of people, keep saying to him, you're meant to do great things, you're going to do great things, and he's like, what great things, what can I do? It's about his journey trying to find clarity with what he's meant to do with his life. Obviously, because Pascal is supposedly the son of God, whatever, we don't, who knows, there are lots of references, quite very on the nose references to the Bible, and as the title would suggest, this is a kind of, a retelling of the New Testament and set in a kind of modern world. And a lot of these references, I thought, to start with, were quite funny because of how on the nose they were. It was sort of poking fun at things. So there's a scene where he's about to leave to go off to one of his new places in the world that he's going to explore, and try and find his father and find his purpose, which he does a lot. And he's having this meal, and he's like, this meal is going to be so important and so like life-changing for my disciples, my friends, who there are 12 of, and I'm very excited about it. And then there's a quote which just says, so nothing happened at this meal and it was of no significance whatsoever, but Pascal was overcome with emotion and he starts washing people's feet, and at one point he's like, eat this in memory of me, and it's like, you're just going away for a bit, mate. It's like, chill out. Another moment that really tickled me is this quote, please hold. While he was a student at the University of Coimbra in Portugal, a series of major events occurred that would change the course of his life. Unfortunately, there is no trace of what actually happened. So it's like, you get bits of this where it's quite, entertaining, lighthearted. However, my main problem with this book is that once you have read the first 50 pages, you have read the entire book. No, it doesn't go anywhere. The entire book is Pascal going to a different place, trying to find his purpose, trying to find his father. He shags a couple of women, leaves them, and then the cycle begins again. And that's literally all that happens until he dies. Pascal is, for lack of a better term, a bit of a twat. He's so naive, he's so annoying, and so he's just so unimaginably unknowledgeable about the world. There's a point where I can't remember exactly what it is, but he's like, wow, look, it turns out people have greater suffering than my own. And obviously this is it's tongue-in-cheek, it's not meant to be serious, but again, I don't want to read about this guy. He's so boring. There's nothing to him. The interesting thing about this is that Condé has said that this book is a kind of testament to her own faith and the power of an individual's faith, and the fact that what you need to change the world is a kind of like, you know, the inner drive to do so, and the, I don't know, like a love for other people. I don't understand why she chose to write this book that supposedly shows that, with a main character who achieves nothing, does nothing apart from shag women in slightly, often not so slightly, you know, questionable circumstances, and occasionally go, oh, colonialism is bad. Like, there's nothing else to him. I just don't really understand. It's just such an odd choice. Like, he doesn't achieve anything with his faith. He doesn't get anywhere towards changing the world or finding out his purpose. And again, maybe this has a point to it, which I'll get to in a second, but it makes for such an irritating reading experience. I think the pacing also does not help. It moves incredibly quickly. He meets so many characters, he goes to so many different places, and they're all just a cycle of the same kind of thing happening. But there are some characters and some interactions that would be interesting, some situations that he goes into which are more unique, and you think, oh, that sounds like an interesting dynamic, but it moves on from it so quickly that you just don't get to know anything about what that could have been. All the other characters and Pascal are so just nothingy. They have nothing to them, and there are also a couple of disabled characters who are described in ways that made me incredibly uncomfortable. And ultimately, I found this book just honestly boring and frustrating to read, because it goes, like I said, it is very repetitive, it goes around in circles, and it doesn't leave you any time to actually think about anything deeply. And Pascal is a character who has nothing to say, really. He doesn't do anything. He has very, very surface level ideas, and maybe maybe this is the point of the book. Because honestly, it feels like to me that Pascal having his meaningless journey, trying to do good, trying to find meaning and clarity in things, but ultimately getting nowhere, is exactly what happens in the book, and that's what the feeling of reading the book is like. And I think that all this kind of combined, it could mean that the book is meant to be a sort of critique of, you know, religion, and this idea that a messiah can come along and not really say anything important or do anything really. He does kind of miracles that everyone kind of goes, oh my god, they're miracles, and it's not really a miracle. And you know, it's a sort of, yeah, a critique of how people get caught up in these sort of like ideas and follow people who have no kind of real like substance to what they're saying. But the book also doesn't have any kind of substance around that. Like it glosses over things so quickly, and its ideas are so surface level. And there are mentions of, you know, mythology and history, like history of colonialism and slavery, and all of this stuff comes up, but it's so brief and it doesn't go anywhere. All of Pascal's philosophy and all of his thoughts and ideas that he kind of espouses to people in various times, he doesn't even do that much of that. I don't understand. Like, I don't know how his ideas get out there, because he doesn't really do anything, but all of his thoughts that he has are so surface level. He's like, colonialism is bad, capitalism not so great, corruption is happening, and it's like, okay, sure, you know, this is what people do. They say really surface level ideas and get people really riled up and excited about it. But the book doesn't do anything with those ideas either. Because it rushes on to the next thing so quickly, and because nothing is examined in any depth. And again, maybe this is all deliberate. Maybe it's like, yeah, look, I'm writing this book that has no substance to it and no meaning to it and no point. because I want you to think of it like this character and have it reflect what this character's doing and his kind of philosophies that also have no meaning and no substance to them. But why bother? I don't understand. Like, yes, maybe it's mirroring his actions and his thoughts, but it makes for a boring book that just ends up being about a man who goes around having sex with women and doing basically nothing else. I'm so sorry. Like I said, I really was excited about this book because I wanted to read a book by Maryse Condé. I thought this sounded interesting, and I feel bad that I didn't enjoy it. I really do. And but it's just so frustrating to me. I just wish that this had not been the first book by Maryse Condé that I had read, because I really think that she can do better. I have faith, and I'm going to read other books of hers and hope and pray that they are not as boring and bland as this one. Damn, that's rough, isn't it? Oof. I think it's got to be a 3 out of 10. I don't think I can give it any more than that. Anyway, I don't know what book I will be reading next, because I haven't started yet. I finished Gospel According to the New World yesterday, and I have not started a new one yet. So who knows? I probably won't get this up in time to ask for suggestions of ones I should read next. I'm thinking I'll go for Is Mother Dead? We shall see. It's a mystery to all of us. But yeah, I will see you soon, hopefully, with another review.